too. We just were on a live feed and it died, and I don't. What's funny is that somebody tried phoning and it killed the whole thing got shut down. That's what happened. One phone call can ruin your life. It's true. It could have been much worse. It was Michael's letting me know that my Bob Dylan concert posters are ready for pickup. Thank you, Michaels. You ruined my last live stream. Anyway, we're here. So this is going to seem weird for people who didn't know that we had another live stream prior to this. So you'd be like, what a way to start your video, dude. Like, just start off by complaining. Anyway, for all of you that are back, hello. And hi, and welcome. So now I have to kind of do the whole spiel over again. Oh no, what did I do?
Bought the contents of a hoarder house.
She's like,
what are you doing? What did you do? What did you do now?
Yep, that's right. We bought another hoarder house, at least the contents of, anyway.
Yeah.
And what we talked about when we started the last live stream that some of you know happened and the others are you like, what's he talking about? Is that Melissa knew about this all along.
Yeah. Why? Do you have a lot of people saying, like, what does your wife think? Or
they're like, you're going to be one dead antique dealer. And that was my interpretation of a woman giving me a hard time. You're going to be a dead man if you know what's coming to you. Not checking with your wife. Anyway, I did check. I talked these things over with my woman.
Plus, it's a business. So
it is. Technically, well, it's not.
If he was like buying like, if he had no plan and we were in big trouble and didn't have food to eat and, then maybe there'd be a problem. But the truth is that we have a business. So
yeah,
I expect him to buy stock to sell.
The business bought it, not us.
I would be a horrible wife if he had a plan and I knew everything was going forward like that, and then.
But you are a shareholder in the business.
Yeah.
So either way, I still need to talk to her because she's a shareholder.
What is that? Why?
We had a shareholders meeting and discussed it. I mean, we set a budget, and
we didn't go over the budget.
No, and the owners said that they are going to not take anything else from inside of the house. That's all. They're done. They've taken the whatever they wanted out, which kind of makes me worried that maybe all the good stuff is gone. But hopefully there's enough stuff to make it worthwhile.
Did you even say that?
Yeah.
You can't even, it would be like... Oh, no. No.
You still worry about that. It's not like you dig up a pirate treasure chest and you're the first guy to open it. You're like, it's all still there. Like, the trunk has been open on a beach and people have been walking around and grabbing stuff out of it. So you're like, and then you're like, do you want whatever left at the bottom of this trunk? And you're like, I guess so. It's not as fun, but it's still going to be fun. But the house is so full, there's no way we're not going to find stuff.
There's no way they went through everything anyways. And they're just relieved that we're taking care of it for them. So
Lori's World says, Lori, I don't know, should I do a voice for Lori? She says, what's your time frame for emptying the house?
Lori, I'm going to have to get him to watch your videos.
Hello.
And Lori got her picture.
Oh, good,
she did. I saw her do the unboxing.
Well, I have to make it interesting. Lori, you now sound like she was like in my mind. She's knitting at the same time and has like she's wearing glasses, but also has the other little glasses at the bottom of her nose. And she says, "What's your time frame for emptying the house?" Wait, I'm starting to sound like not Lori. Anyway,
not Lori.
She says, "I do not sound like that." No, I'm sorry, Lori. Lori says, "LOL, I do not sound like that." Okay, I'm only teasing because we actually have chatted with Lori. Okay, well there you go. Well, at least I got the glasses right. But Lori, of course, I'm kidding. My son Steven did a painting for Lori, and
she did an unboxing. If you guys want to see, I think it was on Vlogmas 8 and 9. They did the unboxing and it showed her getting the picture and everything.
Oh, that's good. I never did answer her question. I just mocked her repeatedly, and now I feel bad about it.
Good.
I tease the people that are nice and that I care about, and so Melissa gets the brunt of it most of the time. True. But Lori, we have 8 weeks to empty this place, which not a lot of time. It took us 6 months at the Potter's house, but there's a difference.
Yeah.
This place is in town. This place is not as full of garbage as the last place.
It has heat, which is a plus.
What does it smell like in these hoarder houses? Mary's house didn't smell like much of anything.
But it was also minus 40.
It was minus 40. All the smells died. When I was in Mary's house, all the smells had died. You could actually see them coming out of like an old soup can and be like, "Blah!" And then you'd hear it falling back in the can. Every time you hear a ting, it's the sound of smell dying. I don't think that's Zuzu's. I say, Zuzu, what do you have to say, darling? Teacher says. Anyway, you could see this. It didn't smell like anything at Mary's place because nothing could live. Just like nothing can live on the atmosphere of the moon or probably in the Arctic Circle or all those sorts of places.
But if it was hot out and we were in the middle of summer, I don't think it would have had a good smell.
All the things were hibernating. We got all the stuff out of Mary's house, and then by the time summer came, it was already all cleaned up and painted and everything, so it was fine. This house. Okay, I want to put you back. Let's say maybe you have a cabin. Maybe your family has a cabin, or maybe you have a grandparent that you used to go visit, and there wasn't much to do, so you'd saunter on over to your grandparent's bookcase, and you would open up a book, and it would smell like musty mothball book. That's what this house smells like. Now I want you to envision it. Go over to your grandma's bookcase, take out a copy of, I don't know, Anne of Green Gables or Little Women or whatever it is, and open up that book. Wait, this sounds suggestive. Okay, don't take out Little Women. That sounds wrong. Take out something, a book of any kind, the dictionary, for crying out loud. Oh my goodness, I gotta stop talking. And just open that musty book and watch the little dust fluttering out and maybe a couple bugs crawl out of it and just breathe it in. That's what that whole house smells like. Mothballs and old grandma book.
When I was in there, I didn't even notice any kind of smell at all. Not even mothballs. And I have a really...
That's because we had masks on. And
oh yeah, sure.
And your breath. She was probably like,
my breath.
It smells like kale and garlic in here. Like that's your own breath.
What was it that we ate right before we went? And I said I had huge regrets. It was something like tacos or something awful that I shouldn't have. So yeah, you're right. I forgot I was breathing my own breath.
Yeah, don't go and have like really oniony or garlicky food before you put on a medical mask and stay inside a house for hours.
Or here's a suggestion, do not have a coffee and yogurt for breakfast and then go and have to wear a mask. Coffee and yogurt, that was bad times too.
Granny Lori says, OMG, my books do not smell like that, LOL. Maybe not to you, because when you smell like an old granny book, everything smells like... You just get used to it. I'm kidding. Oh, Granny. She says, my books don't smell like that. Well, maybe they don't. But
and we only bought, so we didn't buy the whole house. We bought the whole house contents, but we didn't buy the house this time. That was over our budget, but the contents was in our budget.
Somebody says, what about grandmas with new books? Well, if you put them next to your old books, it's all going to smell the same after a while. The whole house smells like that. Probably because there's actual mothballs in with all these clothes so that they wouldn't get eaten up or wrecked or anything like that.
Lauren said, what do you hope to find in the house? Enough stuff to justify our budget.
I think I'm going to find Jimmy Hoffa at the bottom of that clothing pile in the basement.
Is that what you hope to find?
I'll be, look at these fancy men's shoes. Like, oh, there's something in it.
No, all right. That's too far.
Yeah. No, I'm going to find something in that basement. I don't know what.
It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to... I don't know what. I mean, there's still furniture and stuff.
What am I hoping to find?
Treasure.
I'm hoping to find the unexpected. I'm hoping to find things on camera live for your viewing pleasure that will bring joy and a sense of wonder and amazement to the world, because that's what I got when I used to watch Indiana Jones and the Goonies and all those kind of great movies and Spielbergian type things. And so when I throw myself into these type of places, I hope that it's just an adventure. I don't know what I'm going to find. I hope eventually I get my money back. Who is Jimmy Hoffa? Well, you'll have to look that one up.
Somebody,
Teamster union boss.
Pamela said, I'm hard of hearing, and I thought that you said old balls and granny butt. I turned up my hearing aid.
Turn up your... No, I did not say that grandma smell like old balls.
Grandma butt.
Hey, I don't know what your grandma does on the weekends. I don't ask questions. I know seniors have active lifestyles.
Oh my goodness.
No, I said it's mothballs. What's wrong with you? She literally had to turn her hearing aid up. Oh my goodness, you guys. What's wrong with you? Oh my. Listen, okay, well, Anyway, let's get.
I knew you'd like that.
Hey, well, all power to you, woman.
Granny Lori said, I smell like baking cookies.
Okay, well, I bet that's how you draw them in. You're like, hey, Hank, I got some cookies on the stove, and he's like, oh, guess what? You're not gonna smell like cookies for long. You're gonna smell like mothballs. Oh my, okay. I will never look at a seniors building. And Bob the bottle man is watching right now, and he's working in a seniors lodge right now. Bob can tell a story. He's told me stories. It's like a crazy party house at seniors homes. Don't second guess it. They're not just playing canasta. Let's change topics here.
Wow.
Oh, Pamela Roan says,
I have a hearing.
somebody says, you ever smell mothballs? Yeah, they smell like mothballs. I don't know how to describe it.
They're
like
kind of vinegary smelling.
No, but after they've been sitting for a while, they get like musty, old smelling.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? Nil odor. Nil odor reminds me of mothballs. If you guys, does everybody have nil odor?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You know that awful air freshener that I don't like that you put in the garage that time? And you're
that doesn't smell like mothballs.
Oh yeah, that is mothballs in a sprayer.
Oh, hope you find lots of great stuff looking for the biz. Do you still have the ET game? I will have to check and see if the ET game is... Oh, yes, I do. The video game, I do, Russell. Thank you so much for that. That was very kind. I take possession tomorrow. Somebody said, when do you take possession? Or do you mean like, when do I become possessed? That could be tonight. I don't know. The moon could be full and things could happen. When you take possession of a house... I wonder if that's what ghosts, like, if you pass away and haunt a house, they've taken possession of a house.
Is nil odor still available? I hope not.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
I can't change the locks because, like, if the sinks overflow or the bathroom blows up or something, the guy who owns the place has to access it.
We actually trust him.
We trust him. We trust him and his wife. They made a deal with us. They said they're not taking anything else outside of the house. So, I mean, all that stuff is ours now. So we got to... It's ours. I don't think they want me to walk away at this point because they're getting paid for me to do a heck of a lot of labor. Like,
it'll make it a big, I mean, that's a huge headache for them to not have to deal with. And then they can just kind of go forward with the house. And that's a lot to take on. So. Yeah,
it's a 3-bedroom home with a dining room and a living room. So I'll do a whole walkthrough tomorrow. And then you guys will be able to see. Exactly what I'm dealing with here. It's going to be a fun video. I'm actually looking forward to putting it together and making an event out of it. It's going to be fun. No, I'm not just going to empty it and sort it. Okay, I'm going to walk you through a little bit of what my plan is so far. I've arranged for a mover to move one piece of furniture out already. I have talked to the auction house because what we're going to do is we've bought all the stuff from inside this house, and I guarantee there's going to be cool stuff because I've already found cool stuff. You know, there's all the old dishes and teacups and stuff, which is kind of neat, but there's also collectibles and mid-century lamps and pictures of clowns in bathrooms. What? That's right, clowns in bathrooms. And because Marie's probably watching, who's a regular customer of mine, who was also a clown and was mad at me last time I went, whoa, clown in the bathroom. Even though she admitted that a clown in the bathroom was a weird place for a clown picture, she wanted to buy it. If it's still there, I'll get it for her. Where was I going with this? There was a clown in the bathroom. But this time I'm going to be like,
no, what's your process?
Look at that clown in the bathroom. Anyway, I'm going to go. I am like a squirrel. I'm like a squirrel right now. A gerbil. I am going to, I talked to the auction house. So on January 30th, I've got 2 deadlines I have to meet. One, I have to get everything out of there in 8 weeks, which is February 2nd, or I don't know, whatever that is. I've got 8 weeks to get stuff out, but really, I am planning for an auction sale at Castner, January 30th. It's already booked. It's going to be all the treasures that I find in this house are going to be put through the auction because I learned last time with the Potter's house that when I show on camera, I'm like, look, I found a really cool thing. I'll be like this. I'll be like, what's this? It's a cool thing. And then you guys all write me and go like, can I buy the cool thing? Can I buy the cool thing? Can I buy the cool thing? And I'm like, that thing's sold already. And then you're like, what? So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be like, hey, this is a cool thing. It's going to auction. And you guys can figure out if you want it or not. So this time...
That's actually a good idea because there are a lot of people that were not happy.
Yeah, now you guys all have an equal chance to get stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to...
That's more fair for the viewers.
It is.
Sure.
Yeah, it's totally fair. oh, I'm going to be taking a bunch of stuff. We're going to be putting it in the auction house. January 30th is going to be a big auction from all the stuff you're about to see me find. Look, I'm already planning an auction sale for things I don't even know what they are yet. I had no idea what I'm going to find, but it's going to auction. There's stuff. You can't have a whole hoarder house full of stuff and not find some things worth selling. And this place is way cleaner than Mary's place was. It's as full, just about, as Mary's place. But Mary had like newspaper and garbage and like mice had been in there, and you move all that out of the way, and then there's some like amazing piece of artwork. We're not gonna, I don't think we're gonna find like, you know, Picasso or something like that.
Who knows what we're gonna find in there? Do you have a white whale or something that you've always wanted to find but never have?
Right now, the thing that I would really like to find that have not found is like a vacation. If there's
I think
anything,
that's all of us are in that boat.
if there's anything I want, it's I just want to go and chill on a beach with my feet in the sand and the water, kind of, you know, but not like the surprise beach where you're like, oh, this is nice, and you get hit by the wake, you know, what was that? And then you roll like somersault.
Wow.
No, I don't want that. I think I just really want to be in the sun and relax. This has been a long year, and I'm looking forward to it. What do you people do that live in beachfront properties? You're like, this is so tiring being stuck at my beachfront cottage. I can't wait to go shovel snow in Alberta where Alex is. Like, what do you guys do to get out of your routine? We're all thinking about going where you are, but you guys must have something like, oh, it's so annoying always washing the sand off the floor. I don't know. Your problems are trivial. I have no sympathy for people who are stuck isolating on beachfront properties right now, because that's where I'd like to be, truthfully.
Heather said, we're going with you.
Yeah. Well, hey, you don't have to be rich to live on a beach. Somebody said, Nancy says, boo-hoo, poor rich people. No, you could be homeless and live on a beach. My dad lived on a beach when he lived in Hawaii. My dad hitchhiked. How do you hitchhike to Hawaii? My dad hitchhiked, not all the way to Hawaii, because
You must have gotten a flight somehow.
no, it's not like he went to the like Los Angeles and some guy's in an amphicar sitting there. He's like, where to, son? And he's like, Hawaii. He's like, oh, alrighty then. And then they get in the little amphicar. If you don't know what an amphicar is, you got to look it up. It's like a cutesy little car driving that across the ocean in Hawaii. He hitchhiked to LA, and then he caught on a plane, one-way ticket to Hawaii, and he just hung out there. And he slept on the beach for like the first 3 weeks he was there. He's like, it wasn't so bad.
I feel like Alexander and I are not fans of snow and cold.
What are we doing here?
I know.
What are we doing here?
But a lot of people love it, and I think it's people that don't have it that love it. You know, right now we're at 0 degrees Celsius, and it's supposed to go down in the next few days to like minus 30 overnight, which is very close in Celsius as in Fahrenheit, right? Minus 40 is minus 40.
Yeah,
Minus
it's just when it
30
starts getting cold, it's just cold.
It's just cold. Freezing cold. Like kids don't go out at recess. Our schools still run, but they don't go out at recess.
Yeah, we just deal with it. You know, I remember when I was in high school, I worked in a clothing store. And I remember years later, like after I'd left that job and moved on to do other things, I worked in the film industry, and you go into a clothing store and I'd be like, don't worry, I can fold that. I used to work in a clothing store. Like it was nostalgic. And then later I ended up being a district manager for a chain of clothing stores. And guess what I got to do? Now I'm folding again for real, and it wasn't as nostalgic. I think that's how I'd feel about winter if I left Canada. I'd be like, you know, we'd come back to visit, and I'd be like, hi, I don't mind. I'll shovel the sidewalk. I like the snow. And then you end up moving back, and you're like, why am I living here?
I wouldn't want the hot either. I think that I would prefer Canada on the West Coast. to figure out, I mean, either coast.
That's a weird check mark.
I was doing the never eat soggy wheat.
Yeah. West Coast of Canada has tiny little palm trees.
Yeah, or East Coast, but I mean West Coast is warmer here, but
I feel like I just did an accent for Canadian palm tree. I'm a Canadian palm tree. We think we're pretty cool. It's like 3 feet tall with sunglasses on, like 1980s Ray-Bans that are like fluorescent green. That's what a Canadian palm tree looks like. Hey guys, all cool in the hood. And then California palm trees are like, oh my God, what's with this guy? Our palm trees, they try so hard, but they have some on the island. And that makes me, when I went to the island, I was like, that guy's got a palm tree. I don't care if it's 2 feet tall. The guy has a palm tree in his yard. I'm like, okay, that does it. There's parts of Canada with palm trees. I'm moving. We got to get out there. So yeah, anyway, we're going to.
Mr. Hanky voice. That's funny that We have a Mr. Hanky. It's part of our.
Yeah, the kids have not drawn over the bathroom.
Hold on, for those of you that don't know, should I show it?
No, they don't show Mr. They know what Mr. Hanky is. For those.
Should I show it?
Anyway,
it's a poo.
with a Christmas hat on.
With a Christmas hat.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's a crazy thing.
Christina says it's expensive. She actually said it's expensive. It's expensive to live on the West Coast. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But
so is therapy for living in snow.
Yeah. I said I'm like my grandpa, my dad. This is where I'm serious. My dad passed away at a fairly young age. My grandpa, my mom's dad, passed away when he was 40 something. My grandma, my mom's mom, passed away when she was 30 something. That was a car accident though. I have a lot of people in my life that have kicked off kind of early. And so here I am, middle-aged. I might have been middle-aged 20 years ago for all I know. Maybe this is my golden years.
Oh, I doubt that highly.
Well, hey, I lived like I had a midlife crisis when I was 25. So
you probably lived like you had a midlife crisis when you were 12.
Yeah. So now I'm like, darn it, I want to just actually move somewhere nice and relax and enjoy. But for now, we are invested in this city. And I still do want to build my little Parisian style coffee shop. But we are just waiting until, it's funny. Vinyl Earthling says, Alex still acts like a kid. Well, I'm young at heart, I suppose, or I'm immature. Either way, this is what you get.
That's what keeps us all young.
Somehow I managed to pull together cohesive business plans and pull my life together. But
Anne of Green Gables was PEI, wasn't it?
Yeah, PEI is beautiful. Prince Edward Island is fantastic.
Yeah.
The East
people
Coast,
are amazing.
The people are amazing, and it's way less expensive to live on the East Coast than the West Coast.
Oh yeah, like that's not even comparable. Like the prices.
Yeah, but they get what are they? Hurricanes, and they don't.
That's everybody. I mean,
they don't have them they don't have them on the West. They have tsunamis on the West.
Yeah.
West Coast gets tsunamis, and the East Coast gets hurricanes. Anyway.
It's really good. I think it's like a hidden secret about the East Coast for us, like Nova Scotia and all that. It doesn't sound like there's much to do. It was a huge surprise. We love it. Like we've been twice now for vacation.
Hello to Andrew from Montmartre, Saskatchewan. A little contribution to the antihistamine fund for your hoarder house cleanup. I might just need that. Thank you. I actually have really bad allergies specifically to animals and mice. So what do? I keep putting myself into dirty old barns and houses that have probably had mice in them.
Did you have a reaction though to?
But once I start kicking up dust, it's going to happen.
I didn't even see. I'm not sure who you lost, Robert, but I'm sorry.
I'm going to be wearing a mask the whole time.
I missed it.
Somebody asked, because I didn't go through the comments. Did you pay off the store yet? No, I have not. We still have a ways to go on it. We took a chunk off of it for sure, but we still have a ways to go. And now I'm kind of diverting a little bit of my time towards working on this new hoarder house series. So that's going to keep me kind of busy. And it's going to cost some money to rent bins and throw stuff out and clean the place up. So I'm making sure I have some money there. Let's see.
Alexander was allergic to Chewy. Less now. There's no such thing really as a hypoallergenic dog, which I found out after I got Chewy.
This is how this happens. I go to the farm. Melissa's mom is on a farm. You guys might have known that for watching Melissa's vlogs at Melissa. Melissa Archbold is her YouTube channel. If you haven't been to Melissa's channel, check it out. Anyway, we go to the farm and they have poodles there. And they're like, the poodles, they're hyperallergenic.
Is that my mom?
Oh! No, that's Lori again. No, that's
wow.
That's okay. This is Melissa's mom. Don't worry about the poodles. They're hypoallergenic. And what do the poodles do? They run out the door, go roll around with the horses, and come back in. What do? And then her mom's like, I don't understand. They're hypoallergenic. I'm like, they're not hypoallergenic if they roll around with the horses. That doesn't do anything for me. So every time I go to the farm, I leave like after a day. I'm like, I sound like Darth Vader after an hour there. And like, would you like a tea? Anyway. So she has a good old time at her mom's place, and usually I almost die every time.
Yep.
So yeah, our dog is supposed to be hypoallergenic.
Lori said, "I'm so doing that voice in my next video."
Oh! Sorry, Lori.
I laughed so hard.
Yeah.
Lori was. They were going down. Down a road, and she said to her husband, "I need to take some scenic shots, like just like when you're driving through."
Yeah.
And he
B-roll.
says, of the garbage cans because they were passing the blue bins as he was going. Oh man, I laughed pretty hard because of the
It's real
garbage
life.
cans.
So people keep asking, tell us about the auction. How did the auction sale go? What's happening with the auction? What's happening with the auction? Okay, well, everything sold last week. The auction house takes 25%. So we ended up selling, I don't know, $80,000 worth of stuff, which is insane that I had that much extra stuff sitting around the store. And the goal was, prior to me buying the contents of this hoarder house, I was going to take all that money, put it on our store, take the money from the comic book auction, put it on the store, and I had a plan to basically get our store paid off this year. Well, now I was able to take a chunk of it off, only a third of what I wanted to pay down, because I'm going to need to keep some of this money aside for what I have planned for the next couple months. So we did well. I think we brought like $60,000 back from that auction, Canadian. So that's about $12.95 US. And with that, we put it towards the store and bought the contents of a hoarder house. So eventually, it's funny. All the things that you might ever need in your life, need in your life, I probably have in that other house. But I don't need all that stuff. I don't need any of it. It's like when you have so much stuff, you just want it gone. I am looking, in this video series coming up, I'm looking for the top 5% of the items that are inside of that house. I'm looking for the gems, literally and figuratively, that I can bring back to the store or take to auction. And the rest we're going to find homes for either by donating clothing to shelters. We're going to try and keep some of the vintage stuff back so we can hopefully sell it. But we want to make sure we give back to community as well. So we're going to find a way to take this one person's lifetime, multiple lifetimes worth of clothing and treasures and furniture and so forth, and take the next couple months to disperse it while still trying to get our investment back. And hopefully make some money too, because we just don't want to break even after putting in months of blood, sweat, and tears into this place. So the plan. I was talking about the plan before and I got sidetracked. We are doing the auction sale. January 30th, we're doing the auction sale. For those of you that were watching since the beginning, you're saying, Alex, you're repeating yourself, but this has relevance. The auction knows that I'm going to be doing a sale. So what did they do? They set aside a large area of the warehouse, bigger than a storage unit, for me to take stuff to. So for those of you that were saying, you need to rent a storage unit, I thought this through. I negotiated not only a place to sell my items through, but also a place that we can store our items after we're sorting or while we're sorting. So it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great. We've got a good plan in place, and we're going to do a fantastic auction sale January 30th, and we'll do results. We'll do a results episode and see just how we did. It's going to be crazy. Chris says, how are you both just not exhausted all the time? That's a great question. I'm on 2 hours of sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was so wired. Maybe it's adrenaline. We moved past exhaustion into adrenaline, and now we're like on that rush.
Hi to David. You know what? I missed his comment at some point. So
which David?
I don't know. David, I can't remember now.
Who, Diecast?
No. I would have seen Diecast because then I would have had to think that his name was David.
No. Oh, David Hughes.
Oh, thanks.
Yes. Oh, did we miss a super chat?
No.
Oh, okay.
He felt like he was being ignored, so I went back and I was looking for the question and couldn't find it.
Comic book auction went pretty well. I don't know if I covered that one off before. This has been a big year. Like I've been aiming really big. Like what can I possibly do to buy and sell to pay down our lifelong debts that we would normally take 20, 30 years to pay down. We're trying to pay down in a very short period. And I've never been more motivated than I've been this year. I've never been more eager to accomplish my goals than I have been this year. And we are accomplishing many goals. That auction sale brought in $50,000 US, the comic book sale. Now, in Canadian funds, I don't know, somebody will do the math. It's probably like $67,000 Canadian. They gave us a $20,000 advance, which means I probably have another $30,000 check coming from that sale. That's going to go down to pay down the store as well. So as much as all this money is coming in, it's also leaving as quickly as it is too. Now, these are not financial problems. These are financial planning moments and opportunities. And I had somebody once, they said, I can't believe you're talking about your financial problems with all of us, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? I'm not complaining about my problems. I'm talking you through how I am accomplishing lifelong goals in the period of 12 months.
And some people can take those steps and guess what they could do?
Yeah.
Accomplish their lifelong goals. So.
Yeah, like we had Sarge and Red on earlier, and they have a store where they buy and sell vintage toys and so forth, and they watch our channel and they took some of our tips and it's working out for them. Now,
and it's not complaining. It's just a lot of times when you see what other people are doing, you can learn from either their mistakes and also what they're doing right. So either way, you take from it what you take from it.
So there are things you want to accomplish in your life, and we have been. I know a couple things. One, from working years in retail and being a senior manager with Apple, I saw them take small square footage stores and make, hundreds of $millions a year out of a small little location. The way they did that was by having compelling product in a small space and moving it quickly. We do not sit on our product at our store at all. I have merchandising skills. I merchandise. If I find that product is dead, it's gone. It's out the door. It's at the auction. I take that money. I put it into something else. We had tobacco tins at our store, and they hardly ever sold because tobacco products aren't as big of a seller as they used to be. I had a whole showcase dedicated to it. I got tired of looking at it. I called up a buddy of mine who's an antique dealer, blew them all out. Now that showcase is full of jewelry. And guess what? I don't normally sell jewelry at the store, but it's been selling really good. It's been selling like hotcakes, which makes me think if a hotcake is a pancake, maybe we should be selling pancakes, but they're selling like jewelry. They're selling really well.
And yeah, it's kind of a nice thing especially right now for people for Christmas, and they just want something.
Yeah. Somebody said, being a business owner, I assume you don't have health insurance. I'm in Canada, Steve, so I don't need health insurance. We're okay there.
Yeah. Dental would be nice.
Dental would be nice. That's not covered, but
No,
as a Canadian,
expensive.
we have health insurance covered anyway. So I won't get into that because some people are all I was on a bus coming from the airport, and somebody's like, "Are you from Canada?" I was in New York. They're like, "Are you from Canada?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Tell me about your awful healthcare." I'm like, "What now?" And just how some people in other parts of the world are mad about we don't want healthcare. Canadians we don't want you to take our healthcare. Anyway, so it becomes a big argument, which I don't want to get into. But anyway, we're happy with it. If I break my leg, it doesn't cost me a dime.
Yeah, and we just go. I don't know what, and the stuff that people are fed for how things actually are is completely different than how things are.
Yeah. So anyway, somebody said, "Do you not have healthcare?" I'm not worried about it because we're in Canada anyway. Yeah. But that said, what was I talking about? I was talking about being motivated. Being motivated about this year. The reason why I've been buying collections, selling them, and making this huge profit. A younger version of myself would have bought that storage unit full of comics, and a younger version of myself did stuff like this before I had a YouTube channel. I once bought an entire warehouse basically full of antique radios and pinball machines and stuff, and I sold it all on eBay, and I made a tidy profit. You know what this guy did? I went out and bought myself a shiny car. What should I have done? Should have paid down the house. But I've learned that a shiny car will come later, hopefully in summer when the Rolls gets out of the shop. But by paying down the interest on our properties right now, it's like we're doubling our money because we're not paying 20 years of interest on stuff. So we are going to be taking care of ourselves and our financial future and being fiscally prudent. And at the end of the day, we're going to have our properties paid for. We're going to have our cars are already all paid for. And you guys are going to be like, "Look at this guy. He's retired at 45, putting his feet up on the beach. How'd he do that?" And I'll be like, "Just go back and watch my channel. You can figure it out."
And they'll look and be like, "Oh,
they'll be like, "How did this?"
exhausting just watching.
They'll be like, somebody will flip on my channel. "This guy claims he retired at 45. Let's see what went on here. This chucklehead, this guy, come on." He's making it up.
Oh
I don't know who that guy is, but he's like the doubter. He's the thumbs down right now in the video. This guy, I don't know. He's all full of it. Well, let me tell you what. If you pay attention, amongst my joking and my humor and so forth, you will learn something. Somebody laughed at chucklehead. I know I said a potty word. I got into.
When you were talking about the toilet, somebody said you're a potty mouth, like when you were talking about the bathroom earlier.
Oh wait, was the mothballs and me laughing my head off? Was that on this live feed or was that the last live feed?
That's not good.
Oh, I can't remember. Boy,
gosh.
somebody made me into a chucklehead on one of these live feeds. I don't know which one it was.
That wasn't somebody. That was you.
That was me. See, there you go. But somehow this guy's. Oh, was it the last one? Oh boy, that's too bad. That was funny. That maybe it's good it's not on there.
Whoops, sorry. I bumped the camera.
So this is it. We're buying
I
this
really
house.
bumped it.
There we go.
Matthew said I almost had to put Alex in a timeout. Can you imagine if it was like
the
you're
moderator
timed out
puts
for
me in a
300
timeout?
seconds?
Yeah, that's right. Yep. That's right. Let's turn on the TV and see what this kid's doing today.
Oh, you saw that one.
It's funny that even when I imagine some guy who's like my age, but he has a raspier voice, is calling me kid. We're like, we're the same age. He's like, but I'm a mature man who wears nothing but plaid all day long. Look at you, you're just a kid. And I'll be like, maybe I am a kid. I don't know. But anyway, this guy right here has a plan for the future. And I've been planning for my future for quite some time. And I had a goal. 10 years ago, my goal was to pay off my house by the time I was 40. It didn't happen. But I paid off the Potter's house by the time I was 40, and I paid off this house that we live in by the time I was 41. I'm a goal-oriented person. And that's how you get to places. You set a goal, you set a timeline, you try and reach it. And that's what we're doing. That said, I've had to work my butt off, buying and selling stuff like crazy to get there. But we are getting there one step at a time. Kathleen says, are you buying the house or just the contents? Truth be told, I offered to buy the house. Mm-hmm. But the house was not, it wouldn't have been advantageous for me to purchase it because the house requires a lot of renovation work. And having come off of doing the Potter's House series, I know what it costs to renovate a house right now. So for me, I would have had to buy the house at half of its potential value because it's going to need a lot of work. If it's worth $300,000 in good shape, I would have had to buy it for $150,000 because it's going to need $150,000 worth of renovations. The bathrooms are garbage. The kitchen is garbage. The house, who knows if there's black mold, who knows what's in the attic, the foundation, the roof, all that stuff. Windows are original, 60, 70-year-old windows in that house. So everything has to be switched out if you want it to be a good, viable, livable home. The furnace is like 100 years old. Not literally, it's probably from the 70s, but it's still old. I don't even know if the hot water tank works. And when you start going through a place like that and you find out, well, mice have eaten the wiring or the fuse panel is not up to code and houses burn down, you cannot get insurance on a hoarder house, which means that you can't insure it. You can't get a mortgage on a hoarder house because they say the first thing that a company says, they say, we want to see the realty listing for this property you're buying. You say, well, I'm buying it privately. They say, well, we need to see some pictures. And then you go, I couldn't insure Mary's house, the Potter's house, until I had it completely cleaned out, which is why I worked like an animal in -40 for months at a time so I could get it cleaned out and get insurance on the place, get the heat going and all that, because I don't want to invest all that time and energy and have it burn down on me. So it's a tough situation. The person who owns this house right now will not be able to do a darn thing with it until it's emptied out. And so it's actually kind of, it's very good deal for both of us. I get to hopefully find a bunch of treasure and do these videos and find and discover some things. And he will have a house that he has a hope of marketing and selling that maybe there'll be a buyer for. The only hope right now would be to find somebody like me who's crazy and willing to invest in a property as a fixer-upper, but you have to be a cash buyer. Not a lot of people walking around that could go to the bank and get a loan and buy a cash property like that without them needing some assurances of condition. So it is a lot of work. So I did not buy the house because the asking price was very close to what its full market value was, and I just couldn't do that. But we are going to empty this house starting this week. You should have your first video possibly tonight or tomorrow on what's going on. And yeah, who knows what's going to happen. TV show Hoarders says 1,000 times worse than yours. Here's the difference between what I'm doing and what the Hoarders show is like. On Hoarders Buried Alive, if you guys ever see that show, or if you've watched that show before, they, in most cases, in almost all the cases, are dealing with somebody who has a mental health issue. They have some issues that are causing them to hoard, and they have to walk them through getting rid of things. And so they put these tarps out and they talk to these people and they say, well, can you get rid of this? Can you get rid of that? I can tell you this much. Buying and selling antiques, I have never had a good deal buying from somebody who's a hoarder. I've never had a good opportunity to buy things from somebody who is so attached to their stuff. I walk away 9 out of 10 times I walk away without buying anything because everything is precious to them. And if they do want to sell it, they usually want 10 times what the actual market value is. So I would never want to buy or deal with a hoarder house that is active, what they would call like
Yeah.
a live hoard. That's actually the expression. They call it a live hoard. If it's full and there's somebody in it, don't even go there. But in Mary's situation, she was not living in that house any longer and she wanted to sell it and see somebody do something with it. And we were
Yeah.
able to show her pictures of the house as it progressed and she was happy with the progress. In this case, the person is deceased and so we don't own the property, but they need the house emptied out. So I'm to be moving as much as I can, as quickly as I can. And the nice thing is when it's not your stuff and you're doing it as a business, you can be brutally honest with what needs to go and what needs to stay, and you can make quick, decisive decisions. If you are a family member who inherits a house that's been hoarded by somebody, you will have a terrible time going through because you're going to say, mom or aunt or whoever it is, they just loved all this stuff. And well, we can't throw out this teacup because that was Grandma Eddie's and that's, we can't deal with this. And mom really loved this shirt. And before you know it, you're as attached to all these things as the hoarder was. And you're going to take years. I know people that have inherited a hoarder house from their family and they're still going through it 3 years later because they can't get rid of things because they have an emotional attachment to it. I have to look at it completely from a business perspective. This is business. I have a time commitment. I've got 8 weeks. I have 8 weeks to clear this place out. In that time, I have to pull tens of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise out to get our investment back alone. Not alone, I have to make profit as well. So over that. Then we have to pay for our expenses, bins, cleaning crew, hiring Hans and Zenobia if they decide to come and help us out.
Anything that comes up.
Anything like that. So it is a huge expense. But the way I look at it is this. There is nobody to take any of this stuff. So if somebody like me doesn't deal with it, there's no family or anything like that to take it. So it has to go somewhere. I'm really good at sorting and I've done this before and I know what to do and I know the plans I have to take. And I know what has to get done. And I'm the guy to do it because I'm a motivated guy and I know that I'm capable of getting this done. So I am the right guy for this job. I know that I am, for better or worse. I happen to be a good person to have on the job if you need to clear out a big giant mess. Because I'll be like, that's garbage, that's donate, and I'll get it done.
It'll be done now.
It'll be done now. Yeah. There's no sentimentality or no hanging on to stuff for no reason. I am going to make swift, quick decisions to make the best thing come of this as possible. And I'm going to film it along the way. So there's going to be lots of videos of me doing this too. But you're going to watch a house transform.
So for our kids, they won't be part of the initial going in because we have to, as parents, make sure that our kids are as safe as we can have them. So if we have other people in there, our kids for sure will not be in there. And we have to make sure that it's not so much stuff that they're in danger.
Yeah, we would not take the kids and put them in harm's way.
Yeah.
Once we get the main floor cleared out, because that's the goal, is to try and get a couple, what I would call clean or sorting rooms. Once I have a couple processing rooms built, then the kids can come and visit in those specific areas. But I don't know what's underneath that stuff. You don't want to let your kids loose in a house like that and find out that the person who lived there collected razor blades or maybe had, medical needles or something that were piled in a corner.
Yeah.
And that's very possible. These places are not safe places. I climbed in the basement through a bunch of clothing and I got stuck in a sinkhole of clothing that I was actually worried that I couldn't get out of. I was surrounded by so much stuff that went over my head like quicksand of clothing. So I am not letting my kids loose anywhere in that house. If they come to visit, they can come once we have a clean room built. And we'll let them come visit then.
And it's funny because it wouldn't even be, because then they'd find Dave said switchblade collection, and I feel like my kids would look at that on top of it. So I mean, all in all, I need to make sure there's only safe things for them to go through.
So what was my relation to the owner? What was the relation of the owner to the hoarder? Lifelong friend.
Yeah.
And so when you don't have family, sometimes you leave things, executors that are lifelong friends, and that's the scenario here. But I think the friend is like, this is not some gift that I want. As much as there was a few things that they were happy that I'm sure they found. and they found a few keepsakes and things for themselves. This is a lot of work, and it's not something that you want to take on. This is not something I'm going to be doing when I'm in my 60s or 70s. I don't think, if I had a team, like if I had a team of people and I just like, bring me that, and then like some guy like brought it up, he's like, is this anything? And I'd be like, no, that may go. I don't know why I'm British all of a sudden. Maybe I've educated myself better. I've gone to Harvard, and now I can command people. Chop chop. Anyway, so I'm gonna be English in the future. That's gonna change, and I'm gonna be sitting there like somebody's gonna be fanning me, like in the South, and then I'll be like, I don't know why I'm English now and I'm in the South. This is the combination of things that's happening. I'll be like, bring me some sweet tea, please. And they'll be like, here you go. And I'll be like, thank you. And I'll just sit there. Maybe if I'm in my 60s and I can sit on like a velvety throne with sweet tea and somebody fanning me with a monocle, sure. And I can just inspect things like this. If I have a monocle, I'll be like this. I say, that is gold filled and not gold. Put it in the scrap pile. Now I'm talking like Granny Laurie. Oh, maybe we're related, Granny Laurie. I don't know. We talk the same. But this is something you want to do while you're still relatively young. Okay. Rich is saying, what's going on with the Rolls-Royce? What's going on with the Rolls-Royce?
I feel like they want to know what's going on with Rolls-Royce.
I feel like Rich specifically wants to know. For all of you watching that were following my Rolls-Royce renovation video, you and I both want to see an update video. You and I both want to see that happen. We were waiting on a fan blade and a fan blade pulley. My car, being a one of 50 that were built that year, was built to an odd dimension, and it had kind of a custom sort of fan blade setup on it that isn't normal unless you have a Corniche or a Mulliner Parkward coupe, which mine is a Mulliner Parkward drophead coupe, convertible. So we had to find some scrapyard. It took this long to find some scrapyard that had a fan and a fan blade pulley spacer that were the right distance, because the one that I had off of a regular Rolls from the same year pushed the fan blade into the radiator, so they couldn't run the car to road test it, to finish the safety inspection, to get it back to me. So this whole time, $6, or not $6, probably like $100 worth of parts. It's been sitting for 6 months. Why didn't we just get somebody to machine it? Well, fan blade, the design of the fan blade is pretty important to have the right dimensions. The one we had wasn't correct, so we didn't have anything to really base it off of. Nor did we have the original drawings from the factory to build our own. So we decided just to keep searching until we found one. We had to go through US Thanksgiving and wait till that was done, and a couple other things. So now we feel that we have one on the way. Hopefully I'll have the car back soon.
Hi, Car Skull.
Let's see.
Said, can you give me a shout out?
Somebody said, Jeanette says, how did you do with the sales of the toys you bought from Warehouse a few months ago? I want to know. That was a huge auction sale. All of that money I gave back to people that were owed money. So we didn't really make anything off of that at all. If you don't know the story about that, we ended up buying a foreclosed warehouse off of someone that we knew. And that person owed a bunch of people that we knew a bunch of money. And so we sold everything and just paid people back. That's what happened with that.
It ended up helping them in the end, because that's a lot of people that they no longer owed money. And then it obviously helped the people that needed the money. So
yeah, because I'm very disappointed in the person that we knew, and they made some bad life decisions and hurt some people that were close to me, I decided to take those videos down because it was very... it
was too private.
It was too private, and it was...
At some point too, you got to make sure that if somebody makes a horrible life choice, I mean, we've all made bad decisions, but if we make a really bad decision, it's not good to have like your face rubbed in it over and over. And by us having the video up as well, it's not.
It's not great.
And what we needed from that was we needed a positive outcome of the people getting their money, and that person no longer owing those people. So we needed it to be left on a positive note.
It was, and it's all good now. Everybody's fine now, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Let's see. So somebody keeps saying, give me a shout out, give me a shout out.
I said hi. That's my shout out. I don't know your channel. So.
Yeah, so somebody's saying, is the Hoarder's house that you bought the one you went to when you went with Melissa? Yeah, it totally is. Yeah. Where I brought my lady, and hopefully Melissa will come with me. I think we're planning on Sunday, right?
For me, I am a nervous going anywhere.
She
when
hates
there's
winter.
Snow. So it's supposed to snow that day. So if it's slippery, there's no way.
It snows 6 months out of the year here.
You will know if it snowed that day if Alexander's by himself on Sunday or with somebody else.
It's the equivalent of going to Costco and deciding to live in the freezer. That's what we've done by living in Canada. You're like, you can look across out of the freezer and you're like, somebody's eating a bunch of muffins and has vegetables out there. Where are we? We're in the freezer section. What do we have? A bunch of cold milk and some eggs. What are we doing living here?
Oh my gosh.
Why are we doing living in this cold? I'm living in a Costco freezer. And she's like, I don't like to go out in the cold. Well,
Well, it's not I don't mind going out in the cold.
She doesn't like to drive in snow.
I don't like my car sliding all over the road. So if it's a chance of getting hurt.
I don't like to drive in snow either. I rolled my car and had like a near-death experience. I shouldn't say that. I wasn't really injured, but my car was totaled a few years back, wiped out, and I thought I was going to be a goner, and then nope, I was all right. So I for a while was quite nervous driving in snow myself, and I was like, I don't want to drive in the snow anymore. And then I got over it. And now she's not been in a crash like that, and she doesn't like driving in the snow. So anyway,
I hate it. I have one bridge that I need to get over that it makes me have the worst anxiety. There's 2 lights on it, and I've slid through them multiple times throughout the years.
Oh, Melissa's car is actually quite good in winter.
Yeah, I have this is probably the best vehicle I've ever had in winter on ice and everything. I have a Volvo XC90, but it's an older one.
It's not that old.
Yeah, but I don't like the newer ones for myself.
I bought her the fanciest winter ice tires that money could buy. I bought her the best tires available on the market. In fact, when I ordered them, the guy's like, you actually want to buy these? He's like, I don't think we've even sold a set because nobody buys these things. I'm like, well, why? He's like, oh, they're like expensive. I'm like, are they the best? He's like, yeah, but they're expensive. I was like, I'm getting my woman the best winter tires possible. So her car is amazing in winter.
Just not on ice, but nothing's good on ice.
Well, it's a lot better than even mine is on ice.
It's true. It's we had like glare ice for our roads yesterday or day before. And
yeah, it was really icy.
I stopped, but the guy in front of me didn't. He just kept on going. There was no stopping for that person.
So long story short, if Melissa looks out the window and she feels nervous, she won't be coming with me.
Yeah, true story.
If she's like, when it snows, for those of you who know this, and you have a pet and you open the door and you're like your dog, no, I'm not relating you as a dog, but
I hear what you're saying.
Your dog's like, I want out. And then you open the door and it's like, nah, and it turns around like it never had the thought of going outside. It's like, I was just standing by the door for no reason. And it was chickened out because it saw the snow.
I can make it, everything I need is very close to where I am. And that's great. And I will white knuckle it for the 5 minutes I need to get anywhere.
What if we got like an Amazon drone to come pick you up and like teleport you, like drone you, like one of those drone chairs?
If I wasn't sliding all over the road, yeah, sure. Okay.
Are you kidding?
I drone chair it.
Okay, let me get this on the record. You're willing to be put into a drone chair and picked up and carried across town at like, I don't know how high, like 50 feet in the air, zipping across town. You'd be willing to do that? No, there's no way. She is lying to your faces. There's no way she would do that.
Faces to your face.
She won't even go on a ski lift. She won't. She's afraid of heights. There's no way she's going to take a drone. So given the choice between being picked up by like some kind of Amazon drone.
Why is that my only choice?
Just come in a car.
I could walk. No, you're a very overconfident driver.
I'm overconfident in most things I do. It's my driving is just a...
When you're driving on ice, you don't want to be with somebody that's overly confident. You need somebody that has like a bit, even just a smidgen of fear in them to keep you alive.
That's right. If I spin off the road and head towards like a building, I'll just step on. I'll be like, I guess I'm going through. Yeah, right to the other side. No, I'm not overconfident. I just am, I don't know, maybe I'm overconfident, but I am fine.
Yeah, you made it. Obviously, you're sitting here, so you made it.
Yeah, we made it. So yeah, that's it. That's the plan. Okay, I'm going to recap for those of you that actually stuck with us for this full hour. We bought the contents of a hoarder house.
Just the contents.
Just the contents.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of stuff. I have to go tomorrow to do a video where I'm figuring out what to do with all the stuff. And then I have 8 weeks to get rid of this stuff. I have also booked myself an auction sale for January 30th to sell some of this stuff that all of you, if you see something cool, is going to end up there. And I'm going to hopefully have help from some of the usual suspects, like maybe Josh and Hans and Zenobia and so forth, to help me with clearing this place. And we're going to look for buried treasure. So if you want to watch a guy dig through a house looking for buried treasure, if you want to have that feeling like when you go to your friend's house at a house party and you like sneak a peek in their medicine cabinet, you're like, wow, they're on a lot of pain medication or whatever. This is what it's like. It's like you get to like look in the sock drawers, like, ooh, what's in here? We get to have 2 months of that. 2 months of digging around, looking under beds, open up boxes. What's in this? What's in that? It's gonna be fun, guys.
I can feel like the wind off your hands.
Yeah. No, I didn't get to keep the Archie fabric. They actually kept the Archie fabric.
But I was
going to give it to Josh.
But I said in the comments that they're planning on doing something with it anyways.
They're going to make masks with it.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, Josh would have probably made art with it, which would have been cool. Because Josh likes Archie, and I was like, Archie fabric. Well, I'll grab this for Josh. And then they were like, we want to keep that. And I was like, oh man. But that said, we own all the rest of the stuff now, and there's enough stuff in that place to go around. So I'm going to be donating tons of things. I'm sure I'm going to be selling whatever I can. This is going to be an epic adventure, and I'm excited for it. So it all begins tomorrow. I'm going to film the video. I don't know if I'll have the video up tomorrow because it'll probably take a while to edit it, but I would say Saturday I should have a video for you guys of me digging around in a house. We are also closing our store a little bit early this year. We're closing this store. Our last day is this Saturday, December 12th. I don't know why I'm chopping the air because I'm really insistent that that's happening. The reason that's happening is because Sean felt a little nervous coming into work and he wants to see his family and doesn't want to risk getting sick. I get it. Also, our numbers are kind of going crazy right now here in town. We're seeing this a day. I cannot risk getting sick either because I have a lot of work to do. I am too valuable as a tool to empty hoarder houses to get sick. So I thought the only thing I could do reasonably is to close the store off a week or so earlier than normal, and just focus on this house series. Yeah. Plus, think of all the stuff we're gonna get. Are you watching? Is it an ad right now?
I had to reboot it because we were frozen.
Oh, we were frozen.
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure that it was
weird.
Still...
Do you guys? Melissa's watching at the same time. Do you guys get commercials when we freeze? That was weird.
No, I refreshed it so it restarts the whole thing. Then you get a commercial.
Yeah. Oh yes. So we'll see.
Are we going to take questions before you?
Oh yeah. Okay. We'll take the last little bit here to do some questions, guys, and then we'll try and call it a night right around the 1 hour mark. Let's see. Are you happy with the results of the last auction? I would say yes.
Yeah,
yes,
when I reboot, that's what I did. I rebooted.
Let's see, just waiting to see if any questions come through. So I'm staring at the screen and reading right now.
Would you put smaller items like dishes? I think it depends on the dishes. If it's just...
Oh, I would put like a box of dishes. If there's like a dish set, then yes, I would put that through. What about all the Hot Wheels found? Are you going to list any detailed pictures of them? They've been selling. Some of the stuff I try not to sell too hard online because we have a lot of customers that come into this. We also have to have things in store for our customers too. So we'll see. Save any Pyrex. Yes, I know to look for Pyrex. I know that's good stuff. People like it. Mary's Potter's house is still rented. Yes, our other store is rented for the next 6 months. The midget race car project died on the vine. I didn't get that done. We've had a couple projects where I got all gung-ho about it and then it didn't end up going forward. That race car project was one of them where I took it into a shop to get some work done and it sat there for like a year and I gave up on it. Gianna, thank you very much. I admire your upcoming plans. Well, don't admire me yet, Gianna, because I am going to be going through some of the gross stuff and probably working my buns off. But yes, it is going to be a lot of hard work, but it's going to be fun. Did I sell the frog ring? Yes, it sold the minute I put that video up. So a lot of people wanted the frog ring. Goes to show, you should see the lizard ring I got was way more cool than the frog ring. I should have showed that.
Did you sell the lizard ring?
They don't even know it exists. It's like a little lizard for your finger that wiggles around.
Gecko.
A gecko,
but it's sections. So you have like I think it's 3 sections. So when it fits on your finger, it moves. So the frog ring was cool too.
Let's see. Did you go to get the Black Panther? No, I didn't go back for that. I figured, who knows, maybe I have one in this new house. I have my hands full with the new property. So it's like people are bringing stuff in the store today wanting to sell. And I'm like, I kind of shouldn't be buying stuff right now because I don't even have room for all the stuff I already own. So I am not trying to buy a whole lot individually because I just bought a whole house full and I don't even know what I have yet.
So I've been with Alexander since 1996 and I've always called him Alexander. So for me, it would be weird calling him Alex. Somebody asked why I don't just shorten it up. Yeah. I think sometimes I'll yell, you. No, I don't.
I always thought that giving somebody 4 syllables in your name when you first met them, I felt like that was almost, maybe it's the Canadian in me. I
You
felt it
called
was
me
impolite.
Mel.
No, I know, but if I introduce myself, like if somebody's like, what's your name? And I'm like, my name is Alexander. I always felt like that was like I'm making you say more words than you probably
Oh, I
need to
see.
say right now. So just call
But
me
you,
Alex.
you let me call you Alexander.
But truth be told, I prefer to be called Alexander. That would be that's my preference. But like when I'm working on a car with my sleeves rolled up, I guess I'm Alex. And 80% of the time I'm working on something. So I'm probably just Alex.
We have enough furniture for our house. So I don't think there's anything in that house that we are hoping for our house. We
don't need anything for us.
No.
What
we
I
have
need,
everything that we need, I think.
we need to generate enough income from this to pay down some debts. This is seed money that's going to buying product. The product needs to be sold so that we can pay down our debts and save up money to build this store. That's what we're all about. See, is the jukebox still in the garage? Yes, it is. In fact, I've been working on a small video series, not a series, a video episode of me piecing that thing back together. I was working on it until midnight last night because I got all obsessed with this horrible little part. Pardon my cough. I just coughed towards my wife. I'm be hearing about. She's like, I can't believe you coughed. I was moving, so my hands were down.
Seriously, I can get my 3 and 4 year olds in my preschool to cover their mouth when they cough.
Yeah, but hey.
See, we call that the cough pocket.
Okay, somebody's asking about the jukebox. Yes, the trash can Seaberg jukebox is in my garage. I've been assembling it. I was working on it last night, and I had so much on my mind last night I couldn't sleep. And truth be told, I had a real big adrenaline rush because at 10:30 last night the alarm went off at my store, and my heart instantly sank. In fact, I don't think my heart sank. My heart rose up to my throat, and I could feel it beating. Like you know when you have that and your adrenaline's going, you can actually feel your throat beating. You're like, I didn't even know I could do that. I was like that, and so I looked, and it was like a moth or something flew by, and it set off the alarm.
Yeah.
But I'm so on edge about this stupid break-in that happened that my heart was beating in my throat, and I was so full of adrenaline last night that I couldn't sleep. That's why I had 2 hours of sleep, is because our alarm went off. And I'm just feeling panicky about that. Even though we've taken some extra security measures and made the store definitely more safe, I was so freaked out. I'm not freaked out.
Well, you don't want to hear that sensor go off. That is not. It's funny because your body like betrays you.
Yeah.
The anxiety, that whole flight or fight reaction, most definitely.
So I figured since I had so much adrenaline, I would work on the jukebox to try and settle my nerves down a bit. And that was a bad choice, because if you've ever, you know, when you're taking apart the push buttons on a Seaberg jukebox, you know what I'm talking about. Because like maybe there's one person out there that's done that. But anyway, a jukebox has selector buttons, where you're like, I want to hear Elvis. And you push like A1, boop, and you push a button and then it goes, and it plays that song. Well, the guy that I bought the jukebox from had taken it completely apart. I mean, every little nut and bolt was taken off of it. And so I've been piecing it back together. And what I realized is that to attach the little push buttons on the little pushy rod, you have to line up as thin as a toothpick. This tiny little thing has to go, and you can barely do it. And if you jostle your hand the wrong way, it all falls out. And I was so frustrated by the end. And Melissa actually FaceTimed me from the bedroom.
Yeah,
that's how bad it was. She was like, it is midnight. I am tired.
I'm getting up at.
I have to be up
at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Get up here already.
He's
like, I'm almost done. I'm like, you're gonna wake me up. He said, I thought you were sleeping.
You're in trouble.
He did wake me up.
When your wife FaceTimes you from the same house, but also when she talks like she's listing things. Like, we need groceries, we need milk. She's like, I am tired. It is 12:30 in the morning. I don't know where you're from now. You're from Georgia.
You're doing
It
that.
is 12:30 in the morning. I am tired as a dog. You are down there keeping me awake. Anyway, so she listed off a bunch of reasons why I should not be down doing what I was doing. But at that time, what she didn't know is I had been balancing this button pad and trying to fit these tiny little things in like toothpicks. And I was like, just like, like Indiana Jones, where he's like balancing the rock dust or whatever so he could steal the gem and not get run over by a boulder. That was me. I was like it's almost there. And she's like, what are you doing? It is 12:30 at night. She actually started meowing, and then she was like, meow, for no reason.
So every night when Alexander comes into the room to go to the bathroom to brush his teeth or whatever he's doing, no matter what I'm doing, I pretend that I'm sleeping with my mouth hanging open. And I try to like do weirder things every time. I'll be hanging off the bed with like my tongue hanging out.
Yeah, she always pretends like she's passed out.
Yeah, but not last night. Last night I was actually passed out, and then he wanders on in, and he's not a quiet getting better.
I was pumped. I had so much adrenaline flowing through me from the alarm going off.
So tired, and now I feel like I know now why.
And I couldn't, my mind couldn't rest until I'd formulated an action plan for how to deal with this property, to deal with this house in a short amount of time. So I couldn't sleep. Tonight, hopefully it'll be different. We'll see.
So this is just a shirt. This shirt. Somebody said, "Why is Alexander wearing a t-shirt? And you look like you're going out for the evening." And I'm wearing like jeans with the holes in them.
Yeah, you guys aren't used to seeing me in a t-shirt. Usually I'm wearing a collared shirt.
Yeah, true. But this one has a beach scene on it.
It does. Maybe that's why I'm thinking about the beach. I wore the shirt today.
Yeah.
Do we ever argue? Somebody said, do you guys ever argue? We just argued about me going to bed last night.
But that's not really arguing.
Yes, it is. See, look, there we go. We're arguing right now.
Of course we argue, but not like, I wouldn't say in an unhealthy way. We've had our share of not great arguments, but I would say that there's not a lot of those. And we still come out the other side.
We're still, when somebody said, what's the worst argument you've ever had? Well, it couldn't have been that bad. We're still married.
Yeah.
Yeah. We figured things out. I think we're better at figuring things out now.
I think the biggest thing is to make sure that you remember that at some point, I think both people in an argument are just yelling to be heard, and you can't possibly listen if you're both yelling. And plus, when somebody raises their voice, you turn off. Like, there's for sure you think, oh no, something in you is like.
I swear that I learned that in an argument, when you're pretty sure that you're right, you just have to slowly talk louder and keep saying the same things over and over to prove that you're right. That always goes really well for me.
No, it does not.
I don't know what you're thinking. Anyway, no, it doesn't happen that often.
No.
If she doesn't argue with me about buying the contents of a hoarder house, you can imagine that we don't have too many big arguments. Like, about what? Like, you were supposed to put the dishes away. Yep, okay, I'll do that now, I guess. Like, nothing's really that bad. Which reminds me, I have a load of laundry in the wash I have to put in the dryer. So I do have to jump off and go do some work. YouTuber sent $10. Thank you very much. Thanks for the amazing content. Everyone is so nice and courteous. My family in Michigan is addicted now and got them started on their first hoarder episode. Well, you're about to get started on a second hoarder house series right away here.
And thanks for telling them about our videos.
It's weird to me when I find people that are on our channel and they've never watched the Potter's House series. Somebody came in the store today and they said, I've watched all your videos. And I said, when did you start watching? A few months ago. I'm like, oh, so did you watch the one where I was in the hoarder house cleaning up, finding all the pottery and stuff? And then, no, what's that one? And I'm like, oh, you actually watched the other stuff. Like, to me, there's these few moments in my YouTube career where I've done some interesting things. And I just assumed that somebody caught one of those and then they kind of just stuck with us for some of the other stuff. But no, apparently they just watch my normal videos and that's what they're into. So I'm like, okay, cool. Another guy wrote me and he's like, when are you going to put out a video? You haven't put out a video since you did the GoFundMe for Adam. I'm like, that was 2 years ago. I've probably put out 400 videos since then. He's like, what? I'm not getting notified. I'm like, you're not getting notified. I'm probably going to do a video tonight. He called me today at the store. Maybe he's watching now. I'm like, I'm going to do a video tonight. He's like, what? Yeah, so there's some people that are really far behind. But I don't know, I like to try and do a little something, kind of like our store. We have a little something for everybody. Whether I'm, actually, you know, that video I did of melting the lead or whatever that was, I think it was lead, off of that ring was a really popular video. It was solder, like all over the outside of a gold and diamond ring. We sold that, by the way. That sold.
Did you test it? Was it? Oh, yeah. Right, you lost the tester.
Yeah, I lost the tester, but we sold it to somebody who was certain that it was gold and diamonds, and it was marked as gold. So it was a nice piece to find, and it's gone and on its way to a new home, and hopefully we'll find some more treasures like that too. So stay tuned for another adventure series of me digging around in a hoarder house and looking for treasures. And the next 2 months of my life, this is going to be quite an adventure. So it's all going to start tomorrow. Well, for you, it'll probably start Saturday when the video comes out. For me, it starts tomorrow. So have a wonderful night, guys. We're going to have some more adventures ahead. I'm going to try and get some rest because I'm going to need my rest and my beauty sleep because there's going to be a lot of work to be done, and it's going to be nonstop for the next couple months. So have a wonderful evening, guys. We'll see y'all soon, and bye for now.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.